In this episode, we're going to talk about the 5 love languages, which you may have heard of, and we'll share with you what ours turned out to be.
I'm Sienna.
And I'm Toast.
We're partners in love, life, and music, and we've been together since 2001.
With each episode of this podcast, our goal is to help our fellow LGBT community members lift their lives to the next level. Hey there, and welcome to this episode. This topic was suggested to us by a listener, and it's a good one.
Chloe.
Yep. Thanks, Chloe.
Thank you, Chloe. This is a great idea. And actually, did we put it in as an idea?
What do you mean? Did we put it in as an idea?
You know, like when
our list of our own ideas?
Yeah, for a podcast. I know we thought about it, but
I don't think so,
Really?
Yeah.
Anyways, Chloe, thank you so much. We appreciate your suggestion, and it's a good one. It's a good one. So, Toast and I, a while back, we had, I wonder, are our love languages, are they still the same from way back when?
They're similar.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. But we took the test a long time ago, and then we took it kind of when did we take it? Like
in the
3
fall
months ago or
summer
something
last year. Yeah.
And then it was so cool because then we got an email from Chloe saying, "Hey, you guys ever thought of maybe you can do this? I'm learning about it." And I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, we had just taken that, retook that." But so basically, the idea is that there are 5 love languages, and by understanding what your own love language is, as well as the people you spend time with or the people that are important to you, by knowing their love language, you really can learn to speak each other's language so that what you're conveying is received. Because a lot of times it's like,
language.
Hey, you're not, whatever, because the love language is not the same.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, let's keep talking about it.
Okay. Why don't you tell us the 5, Toast?
Okay, so some people might think that, if I want to show love to somebody, I just have to tell them, hey, I love you. And that's what's called words of affirmation. And that's one of the love languages, words of affirmation. But the person who hears, hey, I love you, that might not mean that much to them because their love language might be what's called acts of service. And that's kind of like Janet Jackson's, what have you done for me lately? That's her love language, is acts of service. So those are 2 of the love languages, and the remaining 3 are receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
Yeah.
Some people are very affectionate physically, and that means a lot.
That shows love.
Yeah, and that means a lot to them. And you know what's not on here?
What?
Which is a very Hawaii way of showing love. And I think it's I've heard it being a perhaps Italian way.
Feeding people?
Exactly.
Maybe that's an act of service, though.
It's kind of a combination,
it's like, let me cook for you.
It's kind of a combination of act of service and receiving gifts. The gift of food. Eat.
Yeah, that is so Hawaii. Well, that's a lot of cultures,
Here,
but definitely Hawaii.
Eat.
Yeah. So again, the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
Okay.
So Toast's love language. Why don't you share yours?
Okay. Well, what I appreciate about the test that you can take if you go to 5lovelanguages.com, and that's the number 5.
We'll have a link.
Right, 5lovelanguages.com. What I appreciate about the test results that they give for you afterwards is they actually rank those 5. So,
yes, they don't just give you like the top one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's my ranking.
Okay.
From my most meaningful love language down to the one that I don't speak very much. that I don't speak very much. So here we go. Words of affirmation came out on top for me.
Okay.
followed closely by quality time.
By 1 point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So those were the top two for me. And then down below there was physical touch, acts of service, and the last one is receiving gifts.
Okay.
So that's mine.
Yeah. I think that, what's interesting with that is I feel like your two bottom
Yeah, acts of service and
acts of
receiving
service
gifts.
and receiving gifts, I feel like those are more feminine in energy because you being more masculine,
I think so.
you want to do and serve
Yeah.
the feminine.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And then
I can feel useful.
yes,
Right. And
yes,
capable.
right?
Yeah.
And then and receiving gifts as well, right? It's like you'd rather give the gift,
As long as it's received and appreciated and
Yes.
it means something.
and
Yes.
as long as there are, as your top love language, words of affirmation like "thank you."
Right. Appreciation. As long as I feel
Yes.
like it means something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's very much like, okay, it's not a surprise.
So you feel like
That's you.
that, yeah, not just me in a specific, but you do feel like that. Are you saying you feel like that's kind of very
Masculine.
typically masculine?
Well,
That
actually, no. I think typically masculine would be maybe words of affirmation. Maybe instead of quality time, it might be physical touch,
Okay.
and then quality time.
Okay. All right. But
So maybe
generally.
switching those two.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually surprised at your quality time being second.
When I see that quality time, what comes to mind is having a great conversation
Okay. Then that makes
and
sense.
feeling
Yeah.
heard, right? Feeling heard, listened to, getting someone engaged
Yeah.
in caring about what we're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
mine.
Yeah, you share yours.
So mine, I actually have two top ones. They were actually tied for my love language. So they are acts of service and words of affirmation. So the great thing with that is for Toast and I, we both have at the top words of affirmation. So I think that's great because we can connect on that.
Yeah,
level,
that's very helpful.
right?
Yeah. To have similar things that mean.
Yes. So at
mean a
least
lot.
so at least we have that. And
At
then
least we have that because
then
going on.
is that you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's mine.
Okay. That's
Oh,
Toast's
that's my alarm to scoop poop from Bear's litter box,
Litter box duty.
which I already did today.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And then my next one, and it was just a very much close second by 1 point, is receiving gifts, which, hey, I'm not ashamed of that. That's okay.
Yes.
And then on the very bottom, we have quality time and physical touch. Which sounds horrible, I know. But
That's what we're working on. No judgment.
That's what we're working
These
on.
are all legitimate love languages.
Yeah. So it's really about understanding what your partner's is as well as what yours are, so that you realize that, you know what, my partner is loving me. Their love language is X, and they have been Xing me. Right?
Yes.
Instead of going, wait, but my love language is Z. They haven't been Zing me. But then you realize, oh, because to them, Z is not their language. And then as you work together and keep these things in mind, you can learn to speak the other's language.
Yes.
You know, like-
yes.
like-
and that's
and
the
I'll-
exciting and fun part, the growing part, right?
Yeah. And so, for instance, for me, I'll say that the way I think, I don't know, we have not read the book itself, but I would imagine that your love language is learned from how you're raised. Because that's what's modeled for you.
Yeah.
You know,
It's got to be a combination of nature and nurture, like
Yeah.
everything else, right?
right. But I really do. I see personally how I was raised. It's so in this, like, well, okay. No, I think like what you're saying, Toast, the nature nurture is apparent here. So, for instance, the way I was raised, there was like no physical touch.
And your physical touch is on the bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of like hugs and come here and, oh, you know, you did so well in this. Let me hug you. Or, you know, Merry Christmas. Let me hug you and all that kind of stuff. No. So, but I did have a lot of material things given. Oh, you got such good grades, so here's something. Here's a thing. Oh, this, you know, so much love
Receiving
was
gifts.
shown in
Yeah.
gift giving. And I think for myself, you know, so the gift thing for me, again, was like a very, like, it could have been the top. It's like number 2 by 1 point, right? So for me, I'm a very gifty person.
Yes.
And that's how I show love. And
We
it
did
makes
whole
sense.
podcasts on it.
Yeah, I'm a very gifty person. But the interesting thing is that some people don't care about that. So here I am trying to shove my love on them through a present. But that's not their love language. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, thanks. But to them, do they feel more loved? Maybe not necessarily.
Not as much as maybe you would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something to really keep in mind.
It is. And you know that golden rule of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think so a common way of understanding that is, well, I would love to have gifts given to me. So that's how I'm going to do unto others.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Like that's one level of understanding of that golden rule. But I think the deeper essence of the golden rule is to understand that every person is an individual.
Yeah.
Every person is unique. So do unto others as you would have them to unto you. Hey, I'm unique. I am me. So, and I want people to see me as me, not just as them or as a generic person. Do unto me, right? So do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Do unto others, treat them as an individual. See them as their own unique person.
Yeah. Yeah.
See them as, or know their love language if you're
Know
in
their
a
love language, right.
intense relationship
Like
with them.
in the beginning, like with Toast, I would like give her so many presents. Do you remember? Like your birthday was a big to-do and I'd have all the presents wrapped and in a nice pile, and you would be kind of like you were very appreciative. But that's not your love language.
It's just not my love
You're
language.
just like,
So-
okay, now I have all this stuff. Where am I going to put this
I
stuff?
appreciate it and I still have it, but you're right. I think naturally it speaks to me so much more when I do hear the words of affirmation.
Yeah.
And I do feel like you and I share a time where I have your full attention.
Yeah. So I think for your recent birthday, I actually bought you experiences, which is a little bit closer to the quality time for you, which is number 2, a close second. So we're learning.
We're learning.
We are learning.
We're learning. And I do try, like one of your top ones is acts of service. And I am very conscious.
Yes.
I am very
Thank
conscious
you.
of, trying to show love
Through acts
by
of
making sure
service.
that I vacuum well, clean the bathroom, go out on errands.
See, but that sounds like,
But I need more.
You just do, but that just sounds like you're a helper to the people.
So what I can
It's
do
not like you
then,
just do everything. Like I scooped poop this morning.
Right. Yes, you did. And I gave you the words of affirmation of saying, "Oh, thank you for doing that." But I think, do you think, okay, here's something.
Okay, what?
So words of affirmation and receiving gifts.
Yeah.
I guess those two combined would be represented in taking the time to write a card to somebody.
Oh, because a card is a gift and there's words of affirmation.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Mm-hmm. You know what I think is good too?
What?
Is that even though quality time was kind of lower for me,
Okay.
but it's up there for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, well, wait, okay. Our main one is where we are the same. It's words of affirmation, right?
That's where we are the most similar. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's great is that, like we mentioned in a recent podcast, we have pre-planned all of our dates.
Right.
I think that's really good.
Yes. I
So
feel
we have quality
glad about that.
time
Yes.
in the books. And maybe you'll give me some presents on some
That's
of those
right.
dates.
Yes.
So we're gonna have the link, right? In for people to take it.
Sure, I can put
Yeah.
up the link to take
Okay.
the test for people if
Yeah.
you're curious, if you've never taken the test and want to see what your love languages are, probably.
Tell us. We would be so curious to know what your love language is. You can comment in the show notes, no,
The
the blog,
blog.
on the blog post on our site, and tell us what your language is.
And if you have a partner, make them take the test too.
You know what? For reals, people.
For reals.
For real. Do it. It's gonna make so much sense as to how, you guys relate. It made so much sense for me and Toast. Well, let's just say we weren't shocked when
Right.
we saw our results.
Yeah.
But to see it in black and white like that, it's just very helpful. You're like, oh, okay. It feels organized.
Tell me more about me. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for listening as always. And until next time,
This is Sienna.
this is Toast, telling you, encouraging you, love life, live free.